So everybody, this is Eric Bustos. He is with MTF. MTF is a receiver that's located in Portland, Oregon. They happen to be near where our headquarters are. And he has graciously agreed to come and speak with us about the processes that receivers take with orders. So please, after he's done or even in the middle of the presentation, feel free to ask questions. We will be taking questions after his presentation. But if you do have any questions that just kind of crop up during the course of his presentation, let us know. Eric? Oh, yeah. Peter, go ahead.
Hey, I'm for those of you who have joined, I'm Peter Spalding, and Robert, who was just speaking, was our VP of Sales. I'm one of the co-founders of Daniel House. And Robert, I was just, for those just joining, would you tell them where to find our list of receivers in case they are not in the Portland metropolitan area and would like to find somebody to work with in their region?
Yeah, 1 second. Let me just share my screen out really quick. We did go over this at the very beginning of the training, but some people weren't on, so no big deal. All right. So if we go to the About Us section and then click on FAQs, we've actually created a blog post here, and this is also included in our FAQs. You can click on the link here to go to the blog post, and then click on the link here. This is actually the list of selected receivers that we have vetted across the country. So if you just click on that, you'll see here, this is actually the list that we've created of receivers that that we believe are in good order for you to work with.
Of course, obviously, you should move to the Pacific Northwest and use MTF. But if you can't,
thank you so much.
All right, Eric. So you can go ahead and click on the Present Now button, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Robert and Peter. Hi, everyone. My name is Eric Bustos. I'm with More Than Freight here in Portland, Oregon. I'm going to share my... okay, here it is. Can you see the slides?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, so yeah, so we're a receiving warehouse here in Portland, Oregon. We've been in the business for over 7 years now. And thank you to Peter and Robert to invite us to be part of this webinar. We feel thankful for being part of this. And we're going to talk about what is a receiving warehouse, what's the role of a receiver, and what are the main benefits of using one. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so the main definition of a receiving warehouse is it serves as an intermediary between the manufacturer and the design firm or final customer. It plays a really crucial role in the furniture supply chain. And its main responsibilities are receiving, handling, inspecting, storing, and delivering furniture, among many other services that it provides. And it has all the proper infrastructure, machinery, and personnel to handle and store furniture goods. And they have the proper personnel with expertise to ensuring furniture arrive in excellent condition to the final customer. So basically, it's a middleman between the manufacturer and the final customer, and it guarantees that everything gets delivered to the final customer in excellent condition, no damages, no issues, or no missing pieces, or any issue like that. So this is the very basic structure of furniture supply chain, where you have multiple vendors or manufacturer, and you have the final customer or the interior designer. This is the very basic way to ordering furniture from, directly from the manufacturer to the customer. However, the only benefit of doing it that way is that you're going to save a little bit of money, but there is a lot of drawbacks of doing it this way. first of all, you normally order from different manufacturers. Let's say, forehand, mouse, visual comfort. You don't typically order from one single manufacturer. So that means there are going to be multiple shipments, multiple trucks, and they're probably going to arrive in different dates or times. So that means you're going to have someone here receiving, in business hour for Monday through Friday, just waiting for trucks to arrive. Another drawback is that truck typically don't deliver to residential addresses, so you probably have a dock. Will have to have a dock or a forklift or that kind of equipment to be able to receive these shipments. So basically, you have to be in charge of receiving, inspecting typically within 48 hours or 72 hours is the window to submit claims to the vendor. You have to unpack everything, install, assembly, and then also remove all the trash pallets that come with the shipment. So this is not very good very good structure if you're gonna order from different manufacturers, if you're gonna work in multiple projects, and if you're gonna order large or extra large pieces, valuable pieces, or fragile. You're gonna have to handle those really large pieces, and then if you break something, then that's on the designer to cover for the replacement of that piece. On the other hand, if you use a receiver, there's a lot of benefit of using a receiver. It's gonna cost a fraction of the good that you're purchasing, but you get a lot from it. So first of all, they are available Monday through Friday. Typically, there's some receiver open during weekends, but mainly between Monday through Friday within business hours. And they are always receiving furniture, receiving trucks all day long. So that's what we do, receiving furniture all day long. So no matter if they come from different manufacturers, different truck, different day, different times. So there's always a warehouse team receiving furniture during business hours. They also inspect those items upon arrival, specifically the packaging, and note it on the BOL. That way, there is we keep those in our record in case there is a claim that needs to be submitted. So that's also part of the receiver role. They are able to handle large furniture to store. Most of the time, they offer in-home repair for minor issues, minor defect on the furniture. Or if it's something major that can be repaired, then they offer the return service. So they pretty much repack, label, and palletize furniture to be shipped back to the manufacturer. They consolidate furniture for different projects. Most of the time, they also offer the white glove delivery, which is really, really useful. Once the receiver receive all the items for a specific project, then you can coordinate with the receiver to deliver, with a professional white glove delivery team to deliver, install, and remove all the trash for a specific project. So yeah, basically they receive, inspect, handle, store, repair, return. So there are many different services that they provide just by paying a fraction of the cost of the good. Here are more in depth the benefit of using a warehouse or a receiver. So the quality control, they make sure everything arrives to the customer in really good condition. If there is an issue when an item is received, then they'll note it in the BOL. Then they perform thorough inspection of the item. They unpack, they take pictures, they check every single angle of the piece. They look for maybe missing pieces, missing hardware. And then they generate an inspection report that is provided to the designer. If any issue is found, then we have all the documentation to be able to submit a claim easily. Another benefit of using a receiver is that they have typically, and I'm gonna talk, saying typically because there are so many different receivers and they are all different, but the majority should have an inventory management system where they can keep track of incoming, store, and release items. Has up-to-date inventory data that they can share to the customer through a client portal. So as soon as we receive items, then the status of those items change to store. Customer get notification that we have received items, and then once they've been inspected, then they get another notification saying the status of the condition of such item. And this is important because when vendors or manufacturers are really strict about the claim procedure, typically it should be within 48 hours to 72 hours. So it's important to have all these data updated in real time.
Hey, Eric, this is Robert. Can I just interject something real quick?
Yeah.
So I think this is a really, really important point when it comes to receivers and the value that receivers give to you as a designer. Many times, you're ordering items months in advance and things are filtering in, one by one over the course of, 1, 2, 3 months, maybe even longer, for a single install date. This aspect of what a receiver does is crucial because an item comes in and you don't see it for 3 months until the install date, and then all of a sudden something's been received defective or damaged. The receiver will indicate right away that something's been done, something's happened. They'll get in touch with you. They'll send pictures. They'll send a report. And that just gives fuel to the fire for us to be able to go back to the vendor on your behalf to say, hey, this item was received. It's damaged. It's defective. There's something wrong with it. Let's get this fixed way before an install date. So I just want to kind of reiterate that and drive home that point, because this is really the crux of where a receiver can be extremely beneficial for a project. Thanks, Eric.
Just to add to that, it's going to be really difficult for Daniel House to help you file a claim if you haven't seen a damaged product in 3 months and it's been sitting there. And we want to be able to help you file a claim if you're not working with a receiver. So seeing it right away is really, really important.
Yeah, that's totally right. Actually, the procedures of for a receiver, the procedure of receiving always is receiving, and right after receiving is inspection, and typically it's within 48 hours. Within 48 hours, you'll get a inspection report with pictures. And again, this is the normal receiver should generate an inspection report where you can see pictures of the issue found, very detailed description of the issue, and the details like are there missing items, missing pieces, missing hardware, it's dented, it's not the right color, all that is going to be in the inspection report. It's going to be very detailed, and that's something that you can share to the manufacturer, or you can hire the receiver to handle the claim for you.
Actually, real quick, Eric, so we actually handle all the claims, so we would just be managing that process. So for any of the folks who are on right now, if you got a report similar to the one that MTF sends out from a receiver, most receivers will send something that's very similar to what MTF sends out, which is photos and a very detailed description of what the issue is. Literally, all you have to do is forward that email to concierge@danielhouse.club, and we take care of it from there. So super easy. But again, it just really reinforces the fact that we're on it right away. You're servicing your client correctly by doing that. And then you're also adhering to the vendor's requirements for letting them know if there's something wrong with the item in a timely fashion. So thanks.
Thank you, Robert. Yeah, another benefit is the warehousing and storage. So receiver have a facility with the proper equipment, racking, handling equipment, packaging material to safely handle and store items for you, for specifically furniture items. And it's the receiver is responsible of the integrity of the goods from the moment an inspection report is sent out and it says that it's in good condition until it's being released or delivered to the final client. So that's another huge benefit of using a receiver. If something goes wrong between after it got inspected and it's good condition and it got delivered, if something happened between that time, then the receiver is the one responsible to cover any expense for repair or replacing that item for you. Another big benefit is consolidation and coordination. Again, if you're working in multiple projects at the same time and you're ordering item for multiple projects at the same time, then the receiver will consolidate items per project, bill per project also, so you can kind of have a statement per project from start to end. That way you can kind of know, okay, this is how much I'm going to spend for this project for receiving and delivery. Okay, this is how much I'm going to charge to my client. So there is this prevent misshipment to different, the wrong customer. So if you send everything to the receiver, then it's like a hub. It's going to receive everything, consolidate, sort by project, and then coordinate with the designer. Okay, would you like a delivery? Would you like a will call? Would you like pieces to be returned? So that coordination will happen between the receiver and the designer. Returns and repair. Typically, it's better to repair on site or at the receiver. Things that are minor, because going into the hustle of repacking, creating the return or requesting a return to the manufacturer, for then sending it out and then requesting a replacement is going to take time, money, and effort. Whereas if you have a repair company do their job, then you can fix really minor things and it's going to look like brand new. But also the receiver handle all that part of repacking, label, palletizing those items for you. And then just wait for the shipping company to pick it up from their dock. And the last and huge benefit is the white glove service. I know Daniel House Club is partnering with Freight Club, and they offer white glove service. Is that right, Robert?
Sorry about that. I was just muted. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, we offer white glove and room of choice with packaging removal, and then also just standard curbside, of course.
Okay, but inspection is not included in that service, correct?
Correct. So the only inspection that's done is with white glove.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So by shipping directly from the manufacturer to the final customer, typically, not with Daniel House because they offer this service, but typically there is no white glove service there. Typically, it's just drop off, curbside delivery, and then you'll have to deal with bringing pieces into the home, unpacking. Inspecting the piece, assembling the piece, removing all the packaging, all the pallets. You'll need, proper tool, proper equipment, power drills, power tools to be able to, and of course your time to be able to do these. And then if something goes wrong, then you're gonna have to cover for the expense of repair. Whereas if you hire a third-party company, then they're liable for whatever that might happen during the delivery. But they're professional; they do this every day. So typically, these are not the kind of thing that happen. But it's always good to have some sort of insurance by using a third-party company to deal with the white glove service. So this is just for reference. This doesn't mean that this is the real price, but I just wanted to show you some sort, so you can have an idea of how the price structure for receiver typically is, and a range of different prices. But again, this may vary by location by, the fuel costs or the rent costs or the payroll cost. But typically it gets divided by 3 different fees. So the receiving inspections, and typically by size or by item type, like a chair might be a rate, a sofa might be a rate, or by size, small, medium, large. It can be different tiers depending on the size of the piece, because maybe a chair can be small or maybe a chair can be medium. So that will go on the size way to do it. Then the storage, also by size or by item type, or there are some receivers that do it by pallet or by square footage. And the delivery, typically for small deliveries, it's just a set rate depending on distance. But if it's a large or a very large install, then typically they tend to go by an hourly rate. And this is an example of how much a chair could cost for receiving inspection. Again, this includes receiving, inspecting, unpacking, inspecting, taking pictures, generating inspection report, communicating everything with you. So all that just by a really small fraction of the cost of the piece. And then for storage, there are some receivers that offer 0 days, 15 days, 30 days of free storage, and then they start charging weekly or monthly. So this is where every receiver does it a different way. How we do it is we have 30 days free storage, and then just charge $1 per piece for medium large piece, just so you have an idea. Sofa somewhere between $30 and $60 per piece for receiving inspection, $25 to $40 per month for storage, and then a large cabinet somewhere between 45 to 75 piece for receiving inspection, and 30 and 45 a month for storage. And for delivery, typically somewhere around $99 to $199 an hour. And again, this should include all white glove service, delivery, unpacking, assembling, trash removal, and leaving everything clean and tidy for a final client. This is how a report should look like. This is how our report look like. So every time an inspection gets, an item get inspected, our customer receive an inspection report via email that looks like this, showing, okay, this is for project link, item name, quantity, vendor, SKU, size, and then here where you see the condition. In this case, there was some minor damages on these chairs. And then you say all of them has scratches on the base or the leather. And then you can see here, you can actually open or enlarge the picture, download them, and then click to this link, and you'll see a bunch of more pictures taken during inspection. And this is something that you get via email, and you can share. In this case, you can share it to Daniel House, and they'll be able to, see the damages, see what's wrong with this piece, and then decide if they want to do a repair or if they want to get the piece replaced. But these will have all the information that they require to move forward with the return or repair. Also, typically this receiver have a client portal. Not all of them, but typically they have a client portal that look like this, where you can sort item by project here, create incoming items, and then you can see here the name, quantity, status of the item, when it got received, when it got released, vendor, SKU, condition, and then you can open up the inspection report here and share it to anyone also, just directly from the client portal. You can even create what we call work orders. You can select the items. It'll pop up. It will show a button here that say create a work order, and it could be like creating a delivery order, a local order, return order, repair order, disposal order. If it's something that you don't want anymore because it's really badly damaged, then you just want us to dispose of it, then all of those services are, you're going to be able to request those through the portal. You can sort item, filter items here for easy to be able to easily find a specific item. Maybe you don't know, you don't remember, okay, did they receive this item? Then you search it and then it'll show up here. Yeah, and in conclusion, receiving warehouses play an important role in the furniture supply chain for interior designers. These warehouses offer a centralized facility equipped with appropriate infrastructure, machinery, and personnel to efficiently receive and secure store furniture products. So, you know, they have all the machinery, all the infrastructure, racking, forklift, specialists in inspection, specialists in moving. So they have everything on hand, or also even repair companies on hand to be able to perform all of these services in the most efficient and effective way. And this is for just a fraction of the cost of the good. Maybe a chair will cost somewhere around $500 a piece, and you just pay $25 for receiving inspection. And if you get it delivered within 30 days, then you don't get charged for storage. So really useful to use a receiver because they offer all these services a really small fraction of the cost of the good. Thank you so much.
Great.
Been a pleasure being here with you. If you have any question, or if there's anyone in Portland that wanna visit us, you're more than welcome. But whatever question you may have,
thanks again, Eric. We really appreciate it. If anybody has any questions, feel free to either put it into chat, or you can also just unmute yourself and ask the question directly. No questions. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Eric was so thorough.
You were very thorough, Eric. So thank you.
Thank you. I tried.
I think most of the receivers in my, here we go. I live in a receiver desert. Any advice?
Actually, I remember one question that Peter asked me a few days ago, and I think that might be important to highlight here. He asked me what's the difference between BOL and POD. So BOL, BOL is a bill of lading, and that's pretty much the paperwork that you receive when a shipping company delivers to you or to a receiver, mainly showing the list of items that they're being delivered right now, and you have to sign and put any note there. So that's what we when we receive shipment for customers, then our warehouse team, if they find any small issue on the packaging, on the way they were standing, maybe the piece is upside down, or the pallet looks in really bad shape or something like that, or that it looks like it wasn't treated well, then they note it on the BOL, and that makes the process of claim way more easier by having this note on the BOL. And the POD is totally different, but at the same time it involves the BOL. So the POD stands for proof of delivery, and that's usually a proof of delivery from the receiver to the final customer, or from the shipper to the final customer. And that typically includes a BOL signed by the customer, plus pictures showing that it got delivered. Like something like Amazon, when they ship a box to you, they take a picture and then sometimes they request a signature. That's what a POD is. And again, it stands for proof of delivery.
Thank you for clarifying that. I do think it gets confusing with so many acronyms and different forms that are correctly filled out.
So we did have two questions. One was just, the person lives in a receiver desert. Any advice? And then the second was, if on our receiver list, do we have Canadian receivers as well? For the receiver desert question, that's a really good question and quite the conundrum, because there are sometimes, and Peter, correct me if I'm wrong, but there are sometimes storage facilities that actually have receiving arms of their business. Yeah.
Just to add to that, I do have a few designer friends here in Portland who don't use receivers, but do just a regular storage facility, and have worked out some kind of deal with the manager of the store. I mean, it's not quite the same level of service, but that's one route to go that I know that people are doing. I also think that some receivers have pretty large radiuses. So I'm not sure exactly where you're located, and please feel free to, email us and follow up on this, because certainly we'd be happy to do a little bit of research for you. But some receivers may travel quite far to your project.
And then Canadian. Peter, did we include Canadian on that list? I can't remember if we did or not.
I don't think we have Canadian receivers, but we will begin the search.
Yeah, we just added Canada to our list of shipping destinations late last year. So we do hope to have a list of receivers hopefully soon. Any other questions? All right. Well, we're just 2 or 3 minutes over time. Eric, thank you so much for giving us a really great presentation and giving us a good overview of what receivers do and why they're important in the process. I encourage everyone to have a look at our FAQ section that I went over a little bit earlier. If you go to the About Us section on our website, you will see under the About Us section an FAQ link, and then there is a link directly for information about our receivers and also the receiving process. We created an entire blog post about it. So it's good information in there for everybody to reference.
And then just like a final plug for the use of receiving, I'm sure many of you, we started doing teeny tiny projects that were worth, $10,000. But even then, having items individually delivered to the client, even if they're arriving perfectly, when you're doing that, people are questioning every item as it comes in, as opposed to installing on a single day and just like sort of knocking them off their feet. So I think it is such an incredible value to use a receiving service. It radically improved the way that our projects ran, and it made our clients a lot happier. So I just cannot say enough about using a service like this.
Great. Thanks, Peter. So we'll go ahead and end. If you have any further questions, feel free to always contact the concierge desk at Daniel House Club. That email is concierge@danielhouse.club. Again, concierge@danielhouse.club. Our phone number is 971-333-3133. Again, 971-333-3133. And we're open between the hours of 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time every day, Monday through Friday.
And we have recorded this meeting, so we will be sending it out to everybody, and it will live on our club bulletin page if you want to go back and reference anything. So thank you for coming.
Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you at next month's training session, which will be the last Thursday in June at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Thanks so much.
Bye.